Okay, so good afternoon once again to all of you. So for this time, we shall have the harvesting and post-production technology. So we will go back later to the individual crop production practices, kasi general din ito. So for after our crop establishment and part of the different production or practices are, of course, fertilization, weeding, crop pest, and disease management. And as I have said, I will skip that and go immediately to the part on harvesting and post-harvest technology and farming system. So there are terminologies na ma-encounter natin for post-harvest handling. So there's una ay post-production. So ano itong post-production? Ibig sabihin after production, it's the general term para handling crops after harvest na. And usually we harvest crops for food, seeds, fiber, botanical pesticide, and others. And it will cover from harvest, of course, to the time they reach the final consumer. So pwede siyang primary or secondary. So harvesting is defined as the separation of economic yield, whether the whole plant biomass or the portion only, when crops have reached the highest optimum level of productivity or physiological maturity onward. Or harvesting is just collecting the yield or the fruits of the crops. So for the primary processing, it's the handling of crops that to make them more suitable sa mga manufacturer, processors, and directly consumer. So preparation hanggang para sa ating processor. And still can be changed into other forms, and buo pa yung ating crop produce, harvest. Hindi pa siya na-change, which unrecognizable. So this includes perishable, durables, and plantation crops. So what are perishable? Yung madaling masira. That includes fruits, vegetables, and flowers, like also young coconut and herbs. They can be slightly perishable lang, like the root and bulb crops, or pwede ring fresh medicinal crops, nursery stocks, cuttings, bud sticks, and uprooted seedlings. So those are all perishable. Durable naman, this includes the grains, legumes, and peanut. This can be maintained as food over long period of time na mas matagal masyado kaysa perishable. Pag perishable, days or week lang ang na siya tamad. And more than 1 week, that could be durables na. So, in raw material handling, these fruits and vegetables are intended na for food processing, like ang mga flowers into dried art. And this could also be minimal processing kung i-peel lang nato, i-slice, i-package, or ready to cook or eat and cook ng mga products, fresh cuts, or convenience food. So after primary processing, then secondary processing, this involves conversion na of the harvest produce into more stable products that can be stored longer and cannot be unrecognizable na in form. Food processing or food processing, industrial processing, or medicinal products na. Like example, ang mangosteen gawing capsule. So why do we need to study post-harvest handling? Unang-una, food security. We got a lot of losses because of post-harvest, no? I'll give you the details later. And because of increasing urbanization and industrialization, so kailangan food from the farm, wala na yung mag-create sa farm or sa rural area na nasutanan sa urban, sa city. Diba? Nagdasok na. So we need to move the food from the farm to the city. So we need post-harvest handling. And huge opportunities and stock competition sa exportation, no? Or on the general agreement on tariff and trades. And the growing attention to quality. No, we are very, as consumer, we are particular with quality. And nag-changes tong taste and lifestyle. Dati, we used to have fresh produce, no? Fresh to eat. But then later, mas gusto natin ka ng process, no? And then we go back to the organic, to the fresh na mga produce. And growing concerns about food safety as well. The more nutritious, the better. Heightened health consciousness. And fluctuating supply and prices over time. Diba? We don't know the price. Usahay, kung nag-harvest, baligyan na to dayon, ay mahal, ay barato ra kaayo ang palitan. Because of the demand of, the law of demand and supply. And huge losses during na during kanang harvesting. So ito yung mga losses by countries, no, with post-harvest fruits and vegetables. So imagine winner ang Philippines, no, in terms of losses from 15% to 42%. So what are the cause of losses? Gikan pa lang pag-harvest. During field packing and hauling, these are due to diseases and cuts. And pag-transport, nag-load, nag-stock, nag-unload. So the losses can be due to compression, vibration, and abrasion. And in the packing house operation, mag-dump ka, mag-hugas, mag-store, fungicide treatment, air drying, and packing, the loss is due to mechanical damage usually. And during storage, stacking, and resorting, na ma-develop na ang mga diseases or ma-sprout siya for in case of mga root crops and weight loss, shriveling. And during naman pag-transport, losses again on compression, vibration, and abrasion. During marketing, mag-repack na saan, mag-load, unload, so excessive trimming, disease, weight loss, and shriveling again before it goes to the processing plant and to the export market and domestic shipment. So daghan kay agian, daghan po kay mga wala. Kung saan nila mabilin, ibu-ibu ra gyud sa kapital. So what are the causes or involved na factors in deterioration? Consideration, biological factors, respiration. Okay, we learned yesterday that respiration is the production of ATP or energy for plants use. No, after post-harvest, respiration will continue. So that's why mag-shrivel atong plant, mag-weight loss kasi nag-continue ka po ng respiration. And makamahinog atong mga product antod malata because of ethylene. Then the composition will change, transpiration and water loss, and condition of the crop before. No, wala ba ang sanitation good ba? And the growth and development was earlier good? Depende. And also the environment, like temperature. Kung taas ang temperature, the more respiration, relative humidity, cause diseases, atmospheric composition. Like kung more ang carbon dioxide, the more ang deterioration. And the ethylene, no? The ripening hormone. Ang light, napo na siya nag-emit og heat at saka ethylene. Sanitation, ang kalimpyo. Cause of microbial diseases. So we have two classification therefore of this crop based on respiration patterns. When this is an important guide when to harvest our crop. So natin inatawag na climacteric. Have you heard of this before sa inyong lesson? Have you remembered? Nadasmagan ma'am pero nalabyan na po ihapit. So climacteric is the harvested crop at optimum maturity and will ripen after harvest and will show dramatic changes after harvest. So this belong to the crop na pag-harvest mo, pwede pa siya mahinog after, like the apple, avocado, banana, mango, peach, tree, plum, tomato. So that's why kung tomato, the best to harvest is breaker stage, no? Kasi, or green stage nga, matured na siya nga pagka-green stage. Kasi kung long imuhang market, mag-travel pa ka, so mag-harvest ka o ganang fully red na siya, pag-abot sa palengke, laka na. So, dili na sila mo palit, mas baba ang presyo sa kamatis kung pula na kayo. Hindi naman siya ma-store dayon. Pero kung imo na kaunon dayon, of course, the better. And respiration during ripening will decline. And decline. So, meron siya tinatawag na pre-climacteric, climacteric rise, and post-climacteric. Ang mga non is in here, no? These are the climacteric fruits, as you can see in the graph. Ang ethylene pa-increase after harvest, and then ang iyahang respiration is also increasing. Compare sa non-climacteric fruits, wherein ang respiration niya pa-decrease after harvest, while the ethylene level does not increase nor decrease. The same level lang. So, what are these non-climacteric? They will continuous decline rate of respiration from maturation hanggang senescence, and walang respiration during post-harvest burst. And you should therefore harvest them ripe and ready for consumption. Otherwise, no, tasteless sila, walang hindi masarap, hindi siya mahinog masyado. So like bell pepper, cherry, citrus, grapes, pineapple, snap beans, strawberry, and watermelon. And even durian, no? Sometimes kung dili kay hinog ang durian pag harvest nimo, dili gyud siya lami, diba? Kung tanugan lang. Okay. So therefore, it's very important that we know when is the maturity index for every crop, fruit, flower, vegetable, root, grain, or plant, and better ripening, storage, marketing, and consumption. So what are maturity index? Pwede daghan kay tagtanaw, no? Like kung saan yung pagkabalo nga, ang saging pwede na ma-harvest. So there are ways to see, no? We can use signs or indication or readiness of the plant or determine maturity and predict harvest date, no? Wala pa nimo gitanom, pwede na nimo i-predict kano sa siya ma-harvest, di ba? Or i-assess nimo ang quality of the crop, the sensory quality, or ang post-harvest life, or scheduling and packing operation. It's very important for ensuring maturity index is very important in this. So ano itong, what are the ways? Una, pag phenological or age-related, bilangin natin yung number of days of planting to maturity. These are the common ways based from flower induction. Usually, for manga, pag after anthesis or from flowering, ila ka months na siya bago ma-harvest. So, imuha na ng i-estimate. Then, for durian, based from anthesis or flower opening naman, for durian and beans, and for banana, days from shooting or the appearance of full half. Or you can also use GDD or heat units growing degree days. Ano ito? I have one slide to explain this in the next slides. So using visual, you can see in the change in leaf color for pineapple, lanzones, and tomato. And change in pot color also in mango and tomato. Drying of plant part, kung laya na, so pwede na ma-harvest yung banana, onion, ginger, and potato. Pag flat na kayo ang pineapple, ice, or yung kanyang true fruit, kasi yun yung true fruit, no? Aggregate fruit kasi ang pineapple. and the development of abscission zone melons and durian, and the greater prominence ng netting of the melons. So you can see that and some more is like makita nimo sa mangga mura gani siya naga-bloom. So for grapes, no, makita nimo na siya although green na siya or violet, purple, but mura siya naga-blooming. Increase in size for eggplant and cucumber, fullness of buds for cowpeas and snap beans, change of shape like using the for banana and mango, and compactness ng curd or bud for cauliflower and broccoli, bud opening for roses, and also of fingers, and appearance of forky spots in banana. So for the development of waxy layer on the epidermis of plants, grapes, and melons, and kung pwede rin gel-like materials of tomatoes and tip opening of asparagus. So individually, like there are also other external and internal color for horticultural crops. It's used to measure the fruit surface using colorimeter or color charts. And now, doon sa like, if you remember the future of agricultural technology, mismo nanay sensor na makita ninyo, pwede na siya ma-harvest. So, as I have said, the best stage to harvest tomato is breaker stage, and especially if ang imuhang market is malayo. For sizes naman, this is over mature na, optimal maturity na niya size. And this one. Sa banana shake, this is the full maturity ng size. And sa sa abscission layer niya, kanandali na siya mas matanggal. This is the gel formation sa breaker. So naana siya gel nung medyo mature green 1, 2, 3, 4, and breaker stage. So at this MG4 to breaker stage is the best. And ang optimal maturity na niya siya dere. After that, over mature na siya, unmarketable na ang very over mature, no? So physically, pwede rin using specific gravity. Pag pa-floating mo ang mangoes sa balde, if they sink, they are matured already. If nag-float sila, meaning dili pa. Or itap mo pag na-sound, watermelon and durian, na siya, matured na siya. Sakita po ilitik sa durian. Juice, content of citrus, ease of snapping sa beans, okra, and peas. So, sa okra, if balik na siya yan. Increase solidity or compactness sa cabbage, kung pag-ana mo, compact na bigay siya. And firmness in eggplant, ease of separation of muskmelon. Or kung i-first mo ang sweet corn, magnaay milk. And color for durian and jackfruit, of course. So this is the compactness of lettuce, solidity. So we can also measure firmness using this tenderometer and tenderos to measure tenderness for peas. So pag we have time for analysis, like for example, kaya nang i-analyze ng sensor mo yung starch content, yung total soluble solid using the refractometer, titrable acidity, and TSS over TA, oil content, and dry weight and astringency. So there are ways to measure that and to check that they are already ready for harvest. And the spiration rate ng mango, banana, papaya, and ethylene production for apples and pears. So example, this is what you can see on the starch contents in apple. And this is the refractometer where you can check here i-drop mo lang dari ang juice. And you can check here kung pila ang iyaha degree breaks. We also have non-destructive maturity analysis. Hindi na kailangan na to bone or exact and juice using electronic nose and acoustic firmness sensor. So more high-tech. And spectroscopic analysis using visible spectral imaging and fluorescence imaging. Ano lang ka-simple. But of course, expensive. And pinaka-accurate ang NMR and MRI imaging. Parehas ang ginagamit na kanang mabunggo ganitong ulo and then magpa-MRI ka para makita kung naabay na natandog na ugat or something na blood clot. This is the non-invasive extractive electrospray ionization TORBA spectrometry. So this is how they analyze it. So the maturity index naman ng different field crops could be growth duration again from germination to flowering or maturity. No, pagtanom nimo, of course, 3 months. Most crops are 3 months harvest na. So, and then after 3 months na naman, ginanimo kung ang nag-change na mag-color ang grain pods and foods, no? And the appearance ng mga senescing foliage kung nalaya na usually also the legumes malaya na sila, diba? And for fruit and vegetable, usually age din na siya. Ihapon nimo ang sila ang age after fruit flowering. So these are the different fruits and vegetables and when to harvest, like for Carabao mango, should be 120 days from flower induction. And Nakatan banana, 13 weeks from shooting, Abaca, 18 to 24 months from planting, depending on the variety, of course. For cacao, 170 days from fruit set or 5 to 6 months from flowering. Citrus, usually ang cacao, citrus are 5 to 6 months. Ang Carabao mango lang is 4 months din, 4 times 30, 12, 4 times 31, 4 months. And coconut, 9 months din siya or 11 to 12 months. From flowering. Coffee naman, pareho po sa coconut, 8 to 9 months from flowering. That's right, 45 days lang. Even sometimes 30 days lang. No? Pag naka-seedbed. And pineapple, 1 year po na, 11 to 12 months. Or 22 years even, no? 23 to 6 months from planting. 11 to 12 months from flowering, but 23 to 26 months from planting. And radish 60 days from sowing, 2 months. So for fruits and vegetables, we can also identify when to harvest by their size or weight. Large fruit are more mature than small one, of course. And 2 fruits with comparable size, heavier is more mature. Usually usay ang melon, di ba? Parehara sila kadako, timbang-timbang nila, mas bugat man ang isa. Yung kani mas gaan, imbis usay, magani mas dako pa pero gaan. So, mas bugat dyan dapat ang pilion. And if it change in color, dapat na siya tinge of red or yellow, indicating maturity. Especially in cacao, coconut, tomato, papaya, santol, and banana. And mango is over mature na kung color break na talaga siya under tea. So green din dapat na siya i-harvest. So you can also tap it using pag nag-sound, tapping watermelon and immature coconut. Diba? Kung saan yung pagkabalo na coconut juice pa na siya. Best for coconut juice. Ha? Tuktukon? And then ang sa tingog. Hollow sound. Golden voice. Mara siya, pag ganing, marag lanog-lanog na. Kumo, ay isa po na. Okay. And of course, sa durian, snail din na. Bantogra, no? So sa lakatan banana, you can also check the angles of the fruit. No, kanina yung pinakita ko mga picture. And full cheeks for Carabao mango. Pag nanay flag leaf ang abaka, o dry na ang leaves sa banana, o non-green skin na pag-irab nimo ang chico, and very tight na ang onion or garlic, shiny star apple, makita na nimo, and this tended skin for sweet sour, and dry leaves for yam and taro. So how are you going to harvest your crops? No, using, of course, clipper, shear, or knife. Not only bare hands, kasi makuan sila. No? Dili. Lisod, no? Dili, ma-stress, ano. So, especially for guava, citrus, papaya, and so on, para ma-avoid clogging in English. In Bisaya, ano siya ba, bambina. Diba? Ano pa ka, bira-bira, and then, makuan pa ka, sobrang bira, matumba pa ka, no, sa imong kabuang. Then harvest beans by holding stems as you twist to avoid cutting piece of the pod and destroying adjacent flowers and young pod. So, naiuban na, flowering pa lang, ma-distract ka nimo, no? And for pineapple, i-force lang nimo ang pedicel, i-bend and snap. And harvest root crops using root lifting tools, no? Ayaw, ita nga, gamit lang iluhang kamot, no? I-use ka ng pala. Ang lanzones naman, harvest by cluster, of course, alang isa-isa ako, no? And using clippers, and picking hole or shear knife and net sa mga pomelo, manga stem picker, and using cracks naman for bananas, and 2 person kasi isalo na niya. Pero kaya ra ninyo mang harvest og saging, no? Kamura isa, no? Labi na og sa silingan, di ba? Kaya ra kayo. So these are the clippers, the harvesting net. So during harvesting, you can also tie durian fruits to a branch. No, para ibirhon na lang nimo. Kung dili makuha sa silingan. Joke kami to. Use padded collecting basket, no, para sa sensitive na mga like strawberry, and you use glove for delicate crops like strawberries. The collecting basket can be tied to your tooth waist, and you should climb for tall trees or use picking pole. And do not harvest root and bulbgrass when soil is wet or too dry. Okay, madaot siya. Harvest carefully and handle gently. Pwede na mag-sort, mag-tree, mag-package sa field, like for strawberry, diretso-diretso na siya. Of course, if the weather is good. No? Or you can use bucket, styrofoam board to hold harvested flowers. And if you take note, the sunlight is high, deterioration is also high because of transpiration. And you should move your harvest commodities to a shady part, wherein difference in temperature between exposed and shaded areas would range to 3 to 10 degrees Celsius. So when is the best time or the right time of the day to harvest? Depends on the crop, no? Harvest early morning or late afternoon for all crops except for mango and citrus. Why? Kasi nasa sila yung mga duga, no? Nasa sila yung sa English na duga, latex, and oil for citrus. For roses naman, better late afternoon kasi marami siyang carbohydrates. And sampagita also because it's heavier and whiter in the afternoon. For pechay, mustard, gladiolos, later morning kasi turgid siya during morning and it will break easily. So kung pag udto siya, dili maraglantay siya, so pwede rin. I-gumo lang yung tubig afterwards. For Chinese cabbage naman, anytime lang kasi nasa wrapper leaves. For sweet corn, it should be early in the morning kasi pag harvest mo, ang iyahang sweetness mawala kasi ang sugar ma-convert into starch. So always harvest your sweet corn in the morning, not in the afternoon. Using, pag mechanized naman, we have trucks and tractors, wind machine, tractor-mounted machines, machine P-biners, subsoiler, vibrating digger blades, mower plows for harvesting, and even robotics. Diba? Nakita naman ninyo last time. Yan, those are examples. Robotics, okay, so there are also in grain crops ways of post-harvest handling. So after harvesting, manual or mechanical, so i-thresh pa nato, no? Separation of grain from straw, cob, pods, and etc. So manual or mechanical condition. And then we dry them to 2 to 3 days using sun drying or mga machines then up to 12 to 14%. And store natin siya with 13 to 14% at 70% relative humidity. And then, meal, galing na nato siya. Fiber crops can be harvested on maturity index. Fibers can be extracted using retting or submersion in water for 9 to 20 days with action of anaerobic microorganism and complete when bark and separated peel from the woody portion. And strip fibers are washed or dried for 3 to 4 days and finally clean remaining bark tissue. So retting ang tawag niya. Or decortications by machine, direct separation of the fiber and the bark using stripper, fibers, and dried finally clean. For cassava naman, no, you can pile the roots in a bed of straw and well-drained ground. Kailangan siya uga. Should be utilized or processed 48 hours after harvest or stored this way. And for sweet potato, can be stored for months and can be cured, no? Allowing roots or field areas to self-heal, expose them at 27 to 30 degrees Celsius, 85 to 90% relative humidity for 2 weeks. For sugarcane naman, it can be water shoots and young dung stalks reduce sugar yield, so you should take them out. And cane should be milled within 24 hours, or if madelay ang milling, yung sucrose yield reduction inversion will take place. For tobacco naman, this will mature in 65 days after transplanting. So the lower leaves are first to mature, pale green with yellowing in the edges. So harvesting usually are done weekly using 2 to 3 leaves hanggang 25 to 27 leaves. And classified, pulled, and cured. And then curing is done by color fixing, air curing, sun curing, flue curing in barn, or bulk curing. So, and then there are again classified and graded. So for all plantation, fruit plantation, vegetable, ornamental crops, the post-harvest handling is very important as well, no? Kasi considering respiration, transpiration, and biochemical reaction. So this, you need to consider slowdown of the processes leading to death of the produce, and storage is the main tool to prolong the life after harvest. So what is transpiration? Again, it will cause weight loss and reduction in quality through wilting, shriveling, and toughening, and loss in viability in the substance streets and determinants in temperature and relative humidity. And respiration naman is the loss of full reserve kasi continually produce siya of ATP, so carbon dioxide, water, and energy output. If the RN is high, then the heat and reduction in photosynthesis. So senescence is another deterioration regulated by indigenous factors, mainly ethylene. And if ma-injured pa rin siya, naging point na siya na entry for organism and ethylene production. Therefore, during storage, and temperature and storage should be considered properly. Commodities will stay fresh at low temperature in a fixed duration, and for tropical crops, below the critical temperature results to chilling injury. They will become saggy, pitted, turn back, and harden. That's why hindi siya pwede frozen. So meron optimum temperature requirement bawat crop. Ha? Heated? Asa ba? Depleted? Ay, kani? Kanang mura siya. Kanang humog gani siya nga like after butang nimo imagine mo after nagbutang kag frozen let's say frozen talong, no? And then pagawas nimo and then nabugaw na siya. So murag na siya ka ng humok na kaya ang skin and then ay naga-exude ng mga pores, mga kanyang tubig. So the level of oxygen also and carbon dioxide in a modified storage atmosphere is also important and is being used in the storage technique. And usually, more oxygen and low carbon dioxide ang ginagamit para ma-store siya long. Proper control ng oxygen over carbon dioxide with refrigeration is very effective in prolonging food life. And sometimes we use sawdust and clay jar to preserve them. Kasi they will, water evaporates from the moistened sawdust from the water itself in the clay jar. And it will require heat of vaporization. Parang ma-neutralize niya ang heat mo. And plastic packaging in relation to transpiration, since this is the main important reaction that will lead to deterioration. And when you package them in plastic film, this will increase the relative humidity inside the film, so transpiration is reduced and lower the relative humidity outside the humidity, which is faster rate of transpiration. So wilting and faster deterioration occur pag lower ang RH. And ethylene also, the more ethylene, the more it ripens, no? And although ang calcium carbide or carboro, it's not an ethylene, but it can also ripen the fruits. No? But it has even the tendency na maging carcinogenic sa ating fruits. Carcinogenic siya, no? Ang carboro. So it's not advisable. So better ethylene or ethanol. It's more effective than carboro, or use the squash peel and cacahuate leaves. It can ripen. So its ripening is also different from degreening. Kasi for climacteric fruits, it will ripen and degreen. But sometimes it's not really totally pag natural lang ang ripening, it's not totally na mag-green siya, no? Or mag-yellow totally. Pag with the application of ethylene, mas uniform ang iyahang ripening and degreening. So this causes softening, change in sweetness, and formation of aromatic oils, as well as changes in respiration or evolution of ethylene. in mango, banana, and papaya, etc. So for climacterics also, may be harvested unripe and they can still mature, as I have said earlier, and they still develop desirable attributes like sweetness, aromatic, and they do not, for non-climacteric that do not ripen, so no softening, sweetening, and so on, like citrus and pineapple. So will not ripen na. Ang mga non-climacteric fruits, kapag hinarvest mo, na hindi pa siya fully mature, dili na gina siya mahinog. Pangit naglasa. Although citrus may mag-green pa siya, pero aslong gihapon. So, usually changing color from green to yellow, green to red, in non-climacteric is just beginning and not ripening process. So another important factor in post-harvest is microbes. No? Once ma-atakehon siya, it will destroy the quality. So you use fungicide, disinfectants, like calcium and sodium hypochlorite and pesticides or water treatment, kanang pagkit, and refrigeration and controlled atmosphere storage to control diseases. Like calcium carbide, no? Cacahuate leaves, squash peel, and sawdust clay jars, perforated plastic or container, and modified storage approach. So by crop, I have here a list of the different post-harvest handling activities, no? For the selected crops, like from harvesting, resorting, trimming, washing, grading, weighing, then fungicide treatment, labeling, packaging, weighing, and loading storage. And how to do it in tomato, in roses, and in orchids, in abaca, coffee, cacao, coconut, and rubber. So iba-iba kasi by crop. So this is an example of the packing house layout, no? Where this is the entrance, and you go forward, the loading portion, sorting, weighing, packaging, labeling, palletizing, labeling, then cold storage to shipping area and exit. So for example, these are some of the very common packing house operation, receiving, cleaning, precisely trimming, sorting, washing, sizing, and curing. Grading, packaging, packing, ripening, and nutrition. So what are these? When you say grading, you are going to classify the produce according to the set of criteria or quality size recognized by the industry. So that industry can be combination of customer, processor, or the wholesaler as a whole. And then after grading, isort na po namin mo siya, classifying them into groups designated by the person based on the criteria he desired, like large, small, medium, ay sizing pala yun. Classifying the produce into different sizes. Size classification, like large, medium, small. And grade or product standards can be this criteria or specification. Meron tayo dyan sa Philippine National Standards. No? And standardization using grades. And inspection, eventually, inspect na siya before mo enter sa isang country for shipment. Measure, examine, testing samples whether the standards are enforced properly. And then cleaning, of course, you remove the dirt, latex, chemical residue, millibags, sooty mold, and others. And you can trim or cut, remove unwanted parts that are not needed para ma-shorten ang storage life. And curing for toughening or self-healing ng mga bulb cracks. And waxing or application ng waxes or coating to fruits and vegetables. All of this will be seen na in the videos that will follow. And the equipment that we need in our packing house are the sorter, sizer, washer, liter tons, waxers, blowers, conveyors, and pulling. Carts, forklifts, weighing scale, packing tables, for air drying, drip drying, or curing, containers and miscellaneous equipment like plastic straps, improvised packing aids, impulse sealers, stick applicators. So this is an example of packing house operation for onion from harvesting to packing. For less tools, harvesting to pre-cooling kasi may pre-cooling ang lettuce. And for banana for export to Japan, so these are standard operation from harvest to packing. And mango for Japan. So naagid siya hot water treatment. And for cut roses, so na dethorn, bunch, pulsing, sleeving. Okay, so packing will involve a lot of packing materials, burlap sacks, mesh, bamboo baskets, polyethylene bags, like this following. Or wooden crates, cartons, plastic crates, or expanded plastic boxes like this. Or detail packs. So how do you do the ripening and degreening techniques? You can use ethylene or calburo and bioethylene leaves. No? Induces ethylene production by wounding them or by placing a bioethylene. For example, for tomato at 150 and 80 to 48 hours with under 95% RH, 20 degrees Celsius temperature. So, and you can also stop the ripening by removal of ethylene using ventilation with fresh air, ethylene scrubber, potassium permanganate, heated catalyst ethylene scrubber, brominated activated carbon, UV light for 4 hours per day for 4 days, and use a biological system such as mycobacterium. So these are the ways to stop ripening. And using ethylene inhibitors, low temperature, modified controlled atmosphere, irradiation, and hypobaric storage. Silver ions, ABG, AOA, vinyl glycine, 2,5 norbalins, oh my gosh, kasama na sila. 1-MCP, calcium infiltration, and waxing. And of course, the best that we are always doing, refrigerated storage. And of course, it will allow better price for the produce. That's why natin mga post-harvest or cold storage facilities. And pre-coolers, using pre-coolers, refrigerated tracks, and vans, cold storage, and displays. So, natin ginatawag po na mga room cooling, forced air pressure cooling, hydro cooling, vacuum cooling, and package icing. So, sa isda, di ba, naka-package icing yan siya. And sometimes if you see this logo, it means irradiated siya, radura. And we can also, as supplements to refrigeration, treat with chemicals such as calcium sulfides, MCP, cytokinin, GA-oxin, ABA, salicylic acid, and spark inhibitor for post-harvest. And modify your atmosphere more on oxygen over carbon dioxide. There are also alternative storage methods. So, pwede sa field storage for cabbage, potatoes, and root grass, or pag common or unrefrigerated storage, this potatoes, onions, squash with no need for refrigeration. Night air storage for potatoes and so on. And if naa ka sa bukid, pwede siya high altitude storage. And of course, for the choice of transport, pwede ganing bicycle na. Field transport, land, sea, and air. So these are the quality factors that we need to be aware of as part of the Philippine National Standard. The appearance in terms of size, shape, color, gloss, and effects. The texture in terms of smoothness, softness, internal, fibrous, tough ba siya, or juicy, succulent. Sweet ba, sour, bitter, or flavor, or aroma, flavor. So, sila Bonnie Lynn, Maluga na si Bonnie. Kay Gladys nga, na ano ni, kanang study on flavor of the kanang petchay. Nutritive value also, in terms of carbohydrates, fiber, proteins, lipids, vitamins, and minerals, and of course, food safety. Kung ba siya toxic compounds, chemical residue, and heavy metals. No? Dili na din na musulod sa Japan kung makakita na siya o chemical residue or toxic heavy metals. So, part of post-harvest is processing. Using fresh cuts or preservation into juices, beverage, pickles, jams, jellies, and candies, or dry mo siya dehydrate, or nutritionally enriched products using dagdagan mo ng vitamin C, whatever, fermented beverage, processing, waste management, utilized for seeds and others. Okay, so questions so far? So exercise ata para manayaw mo. Or do you want to watch the example of a post-harvest handling in banana or mango or ang saan gusto? Pineapple or mango? Ay, guwapo ng mango dere sa. Ay. Ay nga nang dara kasi ko nga naman kay class record. Ay na ako ay Google Classroom. Ay kinsa ba? Nga naman eh. Hindi na ako makita. Hindi wala din din nakabot na eh. Anyway. Right sa craft ano. Isa ba? Nag-imagine naman siguro ko. Na kasi ko naka-save nun yan, hindi na mag-play.
From making machine from consumption. Stainless steel machine body with standard feature. Beautiful and durable.
Nakakita na mo, Ane?
पानी बयान के दरवाजों के मुताबिक आम की बर्दाश्त के लिए एक गुना से बैक हाउस बुनियादी तौर पर आम के लिए एक पूरी प्रोसेसिंग लाइन का किरदार अदा करता है। बैक हाउस में हर वो सहूलत मौजूद होनी चाहिए जो आम की बुक यानी शेल्फ लाइफ बढ़ाने में मदद करती है। बैक हाउस में पहला मरहला डीसैपिंग कहलाता है। डीसैपिंग दो मुख्तलिफ तरीकों से की जा सकती है। पहले तरीके में लाइव वाटर सोल्यूशन का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है, जबकि दूसरे तरीके में आम की डंडी को काटकर मखसूस रैक्स पर उल्टा कर रखा जाता है। इन दोनों तरीका कार का बुनियादी मकसद आम को सैनबर्न या लेटेक्स से दागदार होने से बचाना है। लाइव वाटर सोल्यूशन तैयार करने के लिए 1 लीटर पानी में 5 ग्राम लाइव क्ले यानी मिनरल वाटर मिलाना जरूरी है। इसी तरह सबसे असर जरूरत में तैयार किया जा सकता है। लाइव वाटर सोल्यूशन का असर जाहिर और आम को हर तरह के केमिकल से मुकाबला करने के लिए आम को साफ पानी से अच्छी तरह धोया जाता है। इसके बाद आमों को प्रोसेसिंग लाइन पर डाला जाता है। अगले मरहले में सॉर्टिंग यानी छांटनी का अमल शुरू किया जाता है। इस अमल में उन आमों को जो निशान ज़दा, जख्मी या जिनमें किसी किस्म का नुक्स मौजूद हो छांट दिया जाता है। इस अमल का मकसद मयारी और गैर मयारी आमों को अलग करना है। इसके बाद तेज़धार पानी और प्रोसेसिंग लाइन पर लगे हुए नल और ब्रशेस के साथ आम पर लगी हुई पट्टी को साफ किया जाता है। हॉट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट आम को बाद असरदार बीमारियों से बचाने की एक बुनियादी अमल है। इस अमल में आम को 3 से 5 मिनट के लिए गर्म पानी से गुजारा जाता है। ख्याल रखिए कि पानी का दर्जा हरारत 52 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड तक हो। पानी में मौजूद फंगिसाइड से आम की बर्दाश्त के बाद की बीमारियां इन बीमारियों में स्टेम एंड रॉट और एंथ्रेक्नोज शामिल हैं, जो कि अक्सर आम के पक जाने के बाद जाहिर होते हैं। इस अमल के बाद आम को हॉट एयर ड्रायर में ड्राइंग यानी सूखने के लिए रखा जाता है। आमों के सूखने के बाद को ग्रेडिंग टेबल पर मुंतकिल कर दिया जाता है। ग्रेडिंग के पहले में आमों को वजन और साइज के हिसाब से ग्रेड किया जाता है। इस अमल की वजह से पैकिंग के दौरान आमों के हर डब्बे का वजन एक जैसा रखना बहुत आसान हो जाता है। आमों को नफासत और जाने से के उसूल के मुताबिक गत्ते के डब्बों में पैक किया जाता है। हर डब्बे में एक साइज और हम वजन आमों को पैक किया जाता है। आमों को स्टाइरोफोम नेट से कवर करने के बाद इस पर स्टिकर्स लगाए जाते हैं और फिर डब्बे को कवर से बंद किया जाता है। फिर बैग हुए डब्बों को 6 घंटे प्री कूलिंग चेंबर यानी ब्लास्ट चिलर में रखा जाता है। इस दौरान चेंबर का दर्जा हरारत 12 से 15 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड और फिजा में नमी की मिकदार 85 से 90% होना जरूरी है। इससे आमों की राइपनिंग यानी पकने का अमल आहिस्ता हो जाता है और इनकी शेल्फ लाइफ यानी उम्र बढ़ जाती है। लास्ट चिलर ट्रीटमेंट के बाद अगले मरहले का फैसला आमों की फरोख्त की नौयत को मद्देनजर रखकर किया जाता है। आम की मुकामी मार्केट में फरोख्त से पहले इसका राइपनिंग चेंबर में एथिलीन ट्रीटमेंट करना जरूरी है। एथिलीन ट्रीटमेंट से आम के पकने के दौरानिया को कंट्रोल किया जाता है। फल के सही और मुनासिब पकाई के लिए एथिलीन गैस चेंबर में मखसूस वक्त के लिए और मखसूस मकदार में ट्रीटमेंट देना जरूरी है। आम को प्रभावित तरीके से पकाने के लिए जो केमिकल्स इस्तेमाल किए जाते हैं वो इंतहाई ज़हरीले होते हैं। इसलिए आमों की सही यकसा और मुद्दत असरात से मुबर्रा पकाई के लिए एथिलीन ट्रीटमेंट की जाती है, जो कि बैनुल अक़वामी स्टैंडर्ड के तहत मुताबिक है। अगर आम की बराबर बदलिया हवाई जहाज तो एक्सपोर्टर की ख्वाहिश के मुताबिक आमों के पकने का दौरान आमों को कोल्ड स्टोरेज में एक खास टेम्परेचर पर रखकर मुकर्रर किया जाता है। बदलिया पहली जहाज नजदीकी मार्केट में आम को एक्सपोर्ट करने के लिए एक्सपोर्टर के मशवरे से एथिलीन ट्रीटमेंट दी जाती है ताकि मार्केट में आम मुनासिब मोटाई पर पहुंचे। आम प्रोसेसिंग मुकम्मल होने के बाद पैकिंग और पैलेट बनाना बहुत मेहनत लगता है। पैलेट का साइज आपके डब्बों के साइज के मुताबिक होता है। पैलेट और डब्बों में ज्यादा से ज्यादा 5 से 6 सेंटीमीटर की कमी पेशी हो सकती है। पैलेट के ऊपर 12 से 16 डब्बों की तय रखी जाती है और पैलेट कंटेनर की गुंजाइश के मुताबिक रखे जाते हैं। स्ट्रैपिंग के महीने में इसके 5 स्तंभों के चारों कोनों को एक प्लास्टिक के स्ट्रैप से बांधा जाता है। इस स्ट्रैप की चौड़ाई 8 से 12 मिलीमीटर के दरमियान होती है। लोडिंग के बदले में पैलेट को कंटेनर तक लोडर या फोकलिफ्टर की मदद से पहुंचाया जाता है। लोडर को इस्तेमाल करते वक्त पैलेट का रुख हमेशा सीधा रखना चाहिए। कंटेनर के लोड हो जाने के बाद अगर पैलेट और कंटेनर के दरमियान खाली जगह हो तो इसको स्टाइरोफोम या गत्ते की खाली डब्बों से भर दिया जाता है। इसी तरह कंटेनर के दरवाजे और पैलेट के दरमियान की खाली जगह को भी स्टाइरोफोम या फ्यूमिगेटेड लकड़ी से पैक कर दिया जाता है ताकि सफर के दौरान पैलेट का दबाव बरकरार रहे। इसके बाद कंटेनर के दर्जा हरारत को चेक किया जाता है और फिर ज़राए आमतौर के कागजात मुतल्लिका ऑफिसर को दे दिए जाते हैं। इस मरहले के बाद कंटेनर के दरवाजे को सील कर दिया जाता है। बेहतरीन आम की बर्दाश्त के तरीकाकार अपनाने से न सिर्फ पाकिस्तानी आम की शेल्फ लाइफ बढ़ी बल्कि दुनिया की आली मंडियों तक उसकी रिसाइकलिंग मुमकिन हो सकेगी। इससे मुल्क में खुशहाली आएगी और काश्तकार तरक्की
You've got the idea. GoDaddy has the domain to make it happen.
The pineapple plant, a type of bromelia, produces its fruits as an aggregate fruit. The pineapple forms from the inflorescence, which grows out from the middle and the 100 to 200 flowers. The flowers fuse to create an aggregate fruit. The ripe fruit has a leathery, inedible crust with square eyes. These eyes are what's left of the individual flowers. Pineapple plants are very good at collecting water. The leafy crown directs rainwater to the center of the plant. Thus, the pineapple plant can store its own water. The harvest can now begin. This happens 6 days a week. At 6 a.m., the workers meet at the laundry. The work clothing provided by dog is washed every day on the farm. For reasons of hygiene, it remains on the plantation so that no germs or other pollutants can be brought onto the plantation. The respective blocks are divided among the workers. Protective clothing differs depending on the work. In addition to not wearing jeans, the harvesters also require protective glasses, since pineapple leaves are very sharp and could cause eye injuries. They now travel together to the field. While the workers are underway, the foreman inspects the blocks to be harvested. The fruit fruits are randomly sampled to check their golden yellowish flesh and, using a refractometer, their sugar content. They only want to harvest really ripe fruits. The pineapple harvest begins. The harvesting equipment, consisting of a conveyor and containers, moves slowly through the field. The size of the blocks is designed for using the harvesting machines. Each pineapple is plucked by hand from the mother plant. The worker lays the fruit on the conveyor. Everybody has to be very careful when harvesting, as pineapples can be very sensitive to pressure. The conveyor transports them to the container, where they are transferred by hand. They are placed carefully into the transport container. The crown of a pineapple provides the ideal cushion for transport. The pineapples are stored in the container on their heads. When the containers are full, they are taken to the packing station, the planter.
Remember na ko, saan ako gibutang?
Did you know bananas are not only tasty, they're full of vitamins B6, C, fiber, and potassium? And did you ever wonder how this delicious fruit gets to your store? Dole bananas begin their journey at our sustainable growing areas in Latin America, like the 2,000-acre Bananito farm in Costa Rica. Here, bananas flourish in the perfect year-round growing conditions of tropical sun, humidity, and rainfall. And with the care and expertise of our Dole banana farmers called bananeros. A mature banana plant may look like a tree with a thick trunk, but it is actually a giant herbaceous plant. That's right, bananas are the fruit of an herb. The banana plant itself is comprised of about 90% water. The trunk of the banana plant is called the pseudostem. The inside structure of the plant is similar to an onion with concentric rings. The innermost section is what's called the growing point. This is where the leaves are generated and where the fruit stem forms later on. You can see in this immature fruit stem that the bananas are already starting to form, complete with tiny flowers on their ends. Dole's sustainable and environmentally friendly banana growing process begins with the cultivation of banana plant seedlings in one of our specialized nurseries. Each seedling starts from a tissue culture taken from a healthy, disease-free plant. At 7 weeks, these seedlings are carefully planted in a prepared field chosen for its organically rich soil, access to full sun, steady water supply, and excellent drainage. In this humid rainforest environment, the plants grow quickly and require constant cultivation and care to produce high-quality bananas. Once a field of banana plants is established, it can produce bananas for decades in an amazing display of regeneration. Each plant produces an ongoing cycle of 3 shoots. The first, or mother plant, is a main shoot that flowers and produces fruit only once. A new daughter plant grows from the plant base and becomes the new main shoot, which will also flower and bear fruit once. A third granddaughter shoot grows in the cycle too. It is the next generation or follower that will eventually produce fruit. As the stalk of a mother plant is harvested, it becomes a source of nutrients for the next plant. This repeated cycle of growth creates self-sustaining fields without having to plant new plants. New plantings only occur when there are tip-overs or after many years of operation, when the soil is tilled to improve yields. Implementing environmentally friendly and sustainable farming techniques, our Dole bananeros harvest fresh and delicious bananas year-round, making sure families around the world have their favorite nutritious treat. Growing top quality, great tasting bananas requires a lot of skill and dedication. At Dole, our plants receive individual attention and nurturing during every stage of development. A banana plant flowers and fruits in about 9 months. Bananas are harvested throughout the year, with plants in various stages of their fruiting cycle in each of our fields. The plants require about 9.5 gallons of water a day, and the water table must be kept at a constant depth of about 4 feet. It's vital that a banana plant's roots not sit in water, so a well-designed drainage system for the entire farm is essential. During extreme rains, water is often pumped away from the fields. Banana plants develop specialized protective leaves called bracts, which turn red as they grow on the young fruit stem. At this stage, the bananeros cover the stem with a permeable bag, specifically developed to allow light and air in, but keep insects, disease, wind, and weather out. The bag is tied to the fruit stem with a color-coded ribbon that denotes the expected date of harvest. As the fruit stem matures, the protective bracts turn a deeper color red. Flowers form at the tips of the individual banana fingers. To protect the fruit from damage, some flowers are removed at this stage. Early deflowering is carefully done with scissors. As the fruit grows larger, the protective red bracts are removed, and the banana fingers now curve to grow towards the sun. The remaining flowers are removed by hand. This helps the plant direct more of its nutrients to producing large, equally sized bananas. The bract that contains the male flower, known as a bud, is cut off. Some of the lower banana heads are removed as well. 1 or 2 lower banana fingers are left on the stem. Referred to as heroes, these remaining bananas keep nutrients flowing throughout the bunch, making it less susceptible to disease, fungi, and bacteria. Latex may drip from the bananas and stain the fruit below it. We protect the lower fingers with the use of the diaper, a protective sheath that diminishes scarring during fruit development. At this stage, the plant has grown to be between 12 to 19 feet tall and weighs between 65 to 110 pounds. Unfortunately, these plants can easily snap in half under the heavy weight of their own banana bunches, or can be toppled over by gusty winds or rainstorms. We prevent this by securing each plant to a web network of supports that cover the entire banana farm, giving each plant the stability it needs. Crop disease and insects are a constant threat to banana plants. One serious risk to our farms is black sigatoka, a disease carried by airborne spores, which attacks banana leaves and can destroy an entire farm in a matter of weeks. Mature banana plants are tall, with new leaves sprouting from the top center of the plants, so treating them for disease manually is difficult. Instead, they are sprayed from the air. We employ crop protection agents on our farms sparingly and only when necessary. Personnel that utilize crop protection products receive extensive training on their application and are provided with special tools and protective gear. Using GPS technology, specially equipped aircraft spray small amounts of fungicide over the targeted areas. Dole continually strives to develop new environmentally friendly methods of combating the diseases and pests that threaten our crops. It's part of our tradition of encouraging quality and quality and quality through innovation and teamwork. The bananas are now ready for the next step in our process, the harvest. At Dole's Bananito Farm in Costa Rica, the combination of perfect growing conditions and sustainable farming techniques allows us to harvest premium bananas year-round. It takes 12 to 13 weeks from the time the banana plant's fruit stem first appears to the time the bananas are harvested. Experienced Dole bananeros measure the banana fingers on each plant to determine if the fruit is ready to harvest. Harvesting takes place 6 days a week. A team of 3 bananeros will harvest the plants in this section of the farm. Bananas are harvested while they are still green, so they can ripen to perfection just as they reach consumers. First, protective foam padding is inserted to safeguard the sensitive banana hands from spotting and other skin damage. The entire stem is cut off with a machete onto the waiting shoulders of a bananero wearing a protective pad. The leaves of the harvested mother plant are cut off, and the remaining stalk provides nutrients to the new daughter plant. The cut leaves are left on the ground where they will become nutrient-rich humus for the next generation of banana plants. The bananero carries the bunch, which weighs about 65 pounds, to the nearby cableway system. Once 75 bunches are harvested and loaded onto the cableway system, the train of banana stems is pulled back to the packing plant at the center of the farm, usually with the aid of a mule. The cableway system encompasses all the fields on our farm and is about 80 miles in total length. As the bunches arrive at the packing station, the protective pads are removed from the hands and sent back to the field to be used again. For quality control, each train of bananas is numbered and the location of the harvest as well as the harvesting team is recorded. The fresh bananas are washed with chlorinated water and thoroughly inspected. If the bananas do not meet Dole's stringent quality standards, harvesting is immediately halted in the field from which they originated. Banana hands are cut from the stem and placed in a tank of water to protect them and to remove the excess latex found naturally in bananas. The leftover banana stems and the protective plastic bags are then recycled. A gentle water current in the tank moves the banana hands to the next station, where they receive another quality inspection and are cut into clusters of 5 to 7 fingers.
Nalay ka di, Amir.
The clusters float to the next workstation, where they are removed from the water tank and placed on trays. Scales are programmed to accept the correct amount of bananas per shipping carton. The trays are then transported by conveyor to the next workstation, where they receive the worldwide symbol of acceptance, the Dole sticker. The cut stems then receive a post-harvest treatment to preserve freshness. The bananas are now ready to be packed in boxes specifically designed for long-distance transport. These boxes are assembled right on site. For quality control, packers personally identify each box they pack. Banana clusters are carefully laid in the box using methods that minimize any damage during shipment. Each box contains about 40 pounds of bananas. The bananas are wrapped in specially perforated material, which allows the fruit to ripen while boxes. To meet each customer's specific needs, Dole bananas are packaged several different ways. Loose banana heads, single bananas, and sealed in consumer bags. A last weight check ensures that each box contains the correct amount of fruit. The entire process from harvest to box is only 2 to 3 hours. The boxes are then stacked on pallets in preparation for transport. For quality control and traceability throughout the shipping process, each pallet is given its own unique pallet identification code. As part of our commitment to sustainability, the corner boards are made from recycled materials. Sometimes cardboard is used, but usually they are composed of recycled plastic created from the bags utilized to protect our bananas in the field. Once full, the pallets are loaded into shipping containers that will take them to a Dole ship at a nearby port. As you have seen, bananas are quite delicate, so very little of our process is automated. To bring you this healthy, delicious fruit, dedicated workers provide hands-on care and attention at every stage.
Ano naman to sa ano, no? Mango and pineapple. Hawad naman mag-rice, no?
Want to achieve a better harvest or perhaps a bigger income? Follow the Atlas Fertilizer Package of
Mga model
Technology
kasi.
for Rice.
Doon nga,
This is
atlas.
for your rice plants and a plentiful yield. Quality and abundant harvest creates better income.
Sponsored by Atlas, Longwood.
Plant preparation will take about 3 to 4 weeks. Flood the field with water to soften the soil. This is also to avoid unwanted weeds from growing. Filling the field with water can be rain-fed or by irrigation. Plow the land either by using a hand tractor or a caravel attached to the plow. This is done to turn over the soil and bury weeds as well as the remains of the previous crops, allowing these materials to be incorporated into the soil and to be decomposed. When the land has been plowed, harrow the fields twice at a 1-week interval. This is done to smoothen the soil and to achieve better till for better growth of the rice plant. The field then should be leveled evenly using a wooden plank or leveler. This is to make sure that the field is flat and for water to be evenly distributed in all parts of the field. Planting can be done in 2 ways, either by transplanting pre-grown seedlings in seedbeds or by direct seeding. For direct seeding, pre-germinate the seeds by submerging the seeds in water for about 24 hours. Then incubate the seeds for another 24 hours. Broadcast then the seeds evenly throughout the field. Drain the field from 0 to 9 days after sowing to have good seedling emergence. For transplanting, prepare a small portion of the field for a plant bed. Preparation of seed beds are done simultaneously or even before land preparation. This is where the seedlings will be grown for 15 to 21 days before it can be uprooted and transplanted. Maintain around 2 to 3 centimeters water depth to prevent hardening of the soil during seedling pulling. Uproot rice seedlings for transplant by holding 2 to 3 seedlings close to the root, then gently pull out the seedlings towards you. Rice seedlings are now ready for transplant. Transplant uprooted seedlings manually by planting them in rows with 20 by 20 centimeter spacing at a depth of 2 to 3 centimeters. The quantity of fertilizer to be applied can be attained through the Atlas Rice Crop Manager. Atlas Rice Crop Management, RCM, also provides farmers with personalized guidelines depending on their rice variety and location. Broadcast fertilizer evenly into the field. This provides for nutrients needed by the rice plant in the early stage of growth or the tillering stage. Late application will slow down the growth of the rice plant and will reduce yield. Controlling the emergence of weeds can be done as needed by spraying a herbicide. Spraying can also be done before planting to prevent further development of weeds. Top dress is done when the rice plant is reaching its panicle initiation stage. This is about 35 to 55 days after planting, depending on the rice variety used. Apply top dress into the field evenly. Top dress provides nitrogen and potassium, plus sulfur, calcium, and chlorine. With these nutrients present in top dress, rice plants have a strengthened resistance against pests and diseases and will survive unfavorable weather, all leading to better yield. Applying top dress too late can result in decreased yield and poor harvest. Pests can be prevented by monitoring the fields regularly. Early detection of possible pests and diseases is important to control these before causing damage. At the instance of pest and disease incidents, consult an agronomist on how to address the problem. Water must be maintained at 3 to 5 centimeters throughout to avoid the emergence of weeds. 1 week before the expected harvest time, drain the field if there is still any standing water to hasten uniform grain maturity and facilitate harvest and post-harvest operations. Rice crops must be harvested when 80 to 85% of the grains are ripened or have a golden yellow color. Harvesting can be done manually using sickles and scythes, or mechanically with the use of a mechanical harvester. Harvesting the crop on time is very important to maximize yields and grain quality. Crops harvested too early will have grains that break easily and a poor milling recovery. If crops are harvested late, grains may fall from the panicles, leading to losses. Follow the proper packaging technology to maximize yields and minimize loss. Proper practices will lead to better harvest, leading to a better farmer's life. Atlas Fertilizer Corporation, the country's top leader in soil-specific, crop-specific fertilization technology.
It doesn't mean na atlas nila yung gamiton ha. Nalang ko sila na guide. And then kukuhaan na sila coffee. Ama
Tara na, magkape! Hindi ito networking. Pag-uusapan lang natin ang iba't ibang uri ng kape dito sa Pilipinas at kung paano ang proseso nito. Dahil alam namin, ito'y inyong paborito. Pero bago ang lahat.
Taas ka po dahil ito
So ito, kailangan i-harvest.
Makaling ka na. Maning mo, nothing
Tara
nice.
na, magkape! Hindi ito networking. Pag-uusapan lang natin ang
Wait lang. Kadali lang siya. Kasi di mawa ako ang video nga katong latest sa coffee. Pangitawan sa ako. Kakao na lang sa ito. Maski sa kakao. Coffee ba sa kakao? Si kakao na lang sa ito.
sweet. Semi-sweet. Dark. Milk or nuts. Minsan, ginagawa pang or sauce. Makita rin nila. Ilan lang yan sa mga kanyang paborito ng halos na ang tsokolate. Pero alam mo ba, na dito sa Pilipinas matatagpuan ang isa sa mga pinakamasarap at magandang klase ng tsokolate. Bigay ko ito sa akin yan ni Marlon Manalo, Presidente ng Batangas Cacao Growers Association. Sa atin, sayan, nalayunin nila ng 2% sa pagpapayaman ng kakao. Sa rin na nagtala naman ito sa kapitan. Ang una na kilala talaga sa wala sa atin yung kakao. Pinakalayo yung tulad ko namin ay kaya naman si TV na isang chocolate enthusiast at ating pastry chef kasama ang pagsasakalit, LJ Juice Farm at South Baking ay nakipag-ugnayan sa Batangas Cacao Growers Association para tutukan silang kaugnayan ng kanilang industriya ng kakao.
Nagsimula po yan, nagkaroon kami ng TV para sa livelihood ng so, dumating po ang group ng under the Agroforest. Sinabi nila, nangangailangan sila ng tulong para supportahan. Kasi ako, very sincere sila sa pagkaroon ng magandang production. Pinakita nila sa akin yung mga products niya na talagang hindi talagang ordinary sa niya. Ang nag-ask nila na kapag-produce talaga ng napaka-gandang. Nakita ni yan na napakarami na talaga nila. Sa Leila, na pangako na mag-pattern siya ng home production sa Philippines. Napakataas ng potential na nakita ng mga incorporated dito dahil mataas yung demand ng kakao sa Pilipinas. Yung mga tableya ng association, so second is para maging mas mataas yung kalidad ng mga product. And hindi lang siguro mga tableya, kundi mag-explore pa tayo ng mga iba't ibang products na as part of the advocacy of the incorporated to educate them dun sa leadership and management side sa mga farmers.
Kaya naman ang mga cow growers unang Marlon ay puso sa
Nanundo ba sila sa inyo?
para sa mga matamis ang proseso sa industriya ng kakao. Aling sa Marlon Manalo, ay paliwanag ng tamang proseso sa pagsisimula ng mga farm.
And then kung 3 taon, dapat 25%. Kasi habang lumalaki siya, kailangan naman yung silbi, at least siya. Tapos nalagyan mo siya ng upo. Talo na upo. Yung sugat like that. At ako lang po siya ng buka, ako po sa dito. Variation of over lain saja sa buka. Ingatan natin, kung buka yung kakao, hindi apektado. Pero sa layo, ang kakao kakao, hindi ko gumawa ng ibang dapat mapapalipay. Pagkatuloy yung buhay, ito apat na buwan, pagka napabuka natin, dito siya. Lalagyan siya ng twice a day pa.
Importante din ang cross-pollination sa pag-aalaga ng kakao upang mas mapagdagdag ang produksyon sa industriya nito.
So, yung cross-pollination, kailangan tatanim ka, hindi isang variety. Dapat meron kang tatlong ganyan ng variety sa required. Sistema niya sa cross-pollination ng natin ang pagkukulang. Marami tayong variety ginagamit natin dito. Type 0,
Departed Manalo, the President's Science
Kagwapa. Magkaka-grower lagi ka?
Dati kami parang Mindanao ng pera. Hindi ko pera. Kaya ko umiiyak eh. Parang
ang bagong movie ni Marlon ay nakitaan para ang movie naman ng medyo ang mabago sa pagkita ng pagkakain ng
kilala mo.
Ay, ang dami ng kape dito.
So, nakilala mo sa kapatid, kasi siyempre, napag-kaya ng tao. Ay, taas sa level. Kung pala, kikita sila. Hanggang sa pagkatanim ng part, mag-harvest, may bata sa kapatid.
sama-sama tayo mga Pilipino na nasa larangan ng agrikultura.
Kapisa. Malagay ko. Mga pisa taon ay init na pan. So, nag-init na siguro sila dito. So, last na lang na topic is on farming system. PFY. Nakoy gusto kasi nga video sa coffee.
First, we have grammar. The free version checks basic spelling and Grammarly Premium, on the other hand, provides in-depth writing feedback to help you be more clear and concise, and it even gives vocabulary and formatting suggestions. What I love about Grammarly is it works almost everywhere.
So, kuwan sa break sa ninyo from the katong mga online dara, mga pisa ta kadali, mga 10 to 15 minutes. And after that, we'll have the last topic on farming system. Yeah. Gusto din, gabitan ako makaan. May suling vanilla.
Philippines, Southeast Asian country in the Western Pacific, comprising more than 7,000 islands. The Philippines is still primarily an agricultural country, despite the plan to make it an industrialized economy by year 2000. Most citizens to live in rural areas as part of self-fueled agriculture. Here's agricultural crops are rice, corn, coconut, sugarcane, bananas, pineapple, coffee, mangoes, tobacco, and despite being an agricultural country, the agriculture sector is poor. In the past, the peace and prosperity of pre-colonial society ended with the Spanish colonization started. Various policies were made, and it turned the life of farming into a living. Today, we are free from the hands of our oppressors. Let's ask our country now, how did we recover from the dreadful past? And what are the latest issues that our agriculture sector needs to address? The state of Greenland turned back to pages of our rich history starts from the pre-colonial society. Land was commonly owned by the community known as barangay. This is a small unit of government consisting of 30 to 100 families administered by the chiefs. Everyone in the barangay, regardless of status, had access on the land and mutually shares resources and the fruits of their labor. They believe and practice the concepts of stewardship, where the relationship between man and nature is important. The colonial government at this period introduced a feudal agriculture. A system wherein native rural communities were organized into pueblos, and each Christianized native family is given 4 to 5 hectares of land to cultivate. Native families were merely landholders and not landowners. By law, the land assigned to them was property of the Spanish king, where they paid their colonial tributes to the Spanish authorities in the form of the cultural products they produced. The land of the natives were stolen by the colonizers and was given as prior lands. The partiamentos, or lands granted to the Spanish military as rewards for their service, and encomiendas, the large tracts of lands given to Spaniards. The encomiendero, Spanish and have the right to receive tributes from the natives to natives within these areas become mere tillers, working for a share of crops. They did not even have any right to the land. Abusive encomenderos collected more tributes that became the land rentals from the natives living in the area. The Bandala system was practiced where tillers were made to compulsory sell at a very low price or surrender their agricultural harvest to Spanish authorities, where encomenderos can resell it for profits. After the Declaration of Independence by the first President of the First Republic of the Philippines, General Emilio Aguinaldo, the government confiscated large land estates, especially the fire lands, and declared these as properties of the government, according to the Malolos Constitution, 1896, Article 17. They realized that being landless was the main cause of social unrest and revolt at that time. The Americans sought to put an end to the miserable condition of the tenant, tillers, and small farmers by passing several policies to widen the needs of small landholdings and distribute land ownership among a greater number of Filipino tenants and farmers. So 400,000 native farmers were without titles at the start of the American era. This situation was also aggravated by the absence of records of issued titles and accurate land surveys. To remedy the situation, the torrent system was then introduced to replace the registration system implemented by the Spaniards. There was no limit on the size of land holdings one could possess. Land holdings were once again concentrated in the hands of fewer individuals who could buy, register, and acquire fixed titles of their properties. Hence, more lands were placed under tenancy. There were widespread peasant uprisings, headed by the armed peasant groups known as Colombo and Zapatista. They are bound together for united action against the abuse of landlords and unjust land ownership situation. During this occupation, peasants and workers organized in Malhab and took over vast tracts of land and gave the land and harvest to the people. For them, The war was a golden opportunity for people's initiative to push pro-war programs. Landlords were overpowered by the peasants, but unfortunately, at the end of the war, through the help of the military police and civilian guards, landlords were able to retrieve their lands from the Malahan. Now we are back to the present, where we are now facing modern problems. One of the most pressing concerns of the agricultural sector today is the rampant conversion of agricultural lands into golf courses, residential subdivisions, and industrial parks or zones. In 1993, the nation was losing irrigated grasslands at a rate of 2,300 hectares per year. Another concern is the farmers' continued reliance on chemical-based fertilizers or pesticides that have destroyed soil productivity. In recent years, however, farmers have been slowly turning to organic fertilizers, or at least a combination of chemicals and organic inputs. Lastly, Philippine agriculture is at risk because the average age of farmers in the Philippines is 57 years old. That means in 10 to 15 years, there will be no more farmers. None of the farmer children are considering entering the farm. The situation of our agriculture is bad, but not helpless. Actions must be done to address these issues, and they must be done as early as possible. The problem facing Philippine agriculture are deep and wide. Any attempt to solve them will be futile at first and temporary at best. But steps must be done. Actions must be done.
Sampan. And lastly nga video na I wanna show you is this one. Favorite kay na ko ni nga ano. Coffee or me? Okay, so actually I have a lot from my Google Classroom. So if you're interested also on the compilation, I can also give you the code, class code, para pwede mo maka-access sa Google Classroom sa plantation crops. Kasi we cannot have all the time. But in your printed, kaso sorry to kayo, hindi sila mahuman ng print. So sa inyong review materials na nandito ang mga major crops and vegetables, fruits, and ornamentals and their production practices. Based po siya sa BPI, API, ng mga NDA, ng mga sources. So, mga questions or clarification before we proceed with our last topic. Wala na yung mga pangpana. So farming systems are one of the topics that we're going to discuss, although medyo konti lang din ang galing dito. Ang craft science is more on practices and then physiology and anatomy. So yung mga hormones, focus there na master na ninyo ang function ng 5 major hormones and plant anatomy and production, major production, no? Top producers, scientific names. So kato ang mga medyo i-review nyo maayo. Okay, so we have classification of agricultural system based on collecting, cultivation, grassland utilization. So when we say collecting, it's direct method of obtaining plant products, regular or irregular harvesting of uncultivated plants, and major source of food supply ever since in the prehistoric times along with hunting and fishing. So prior yung tinignan natin na history of agriculture past and present. So it was indicated in the video presentation na yung colonizer natin yung Spanish era have a big also contribution sa ating farming, although tayo ay naging alipin lang nila in our own land, but then we've learned a lot from them. Even our religion until now, we are so fanatics with Christianity, but when you go to Spain at this point of generation, marag kuan na lang, like China ang Buddhism kuan na lang sa ilaha kanang museum. They are not even Catholics anymore sa Spain. And ano na lang ang religion dito, ang mabili na lang ang manimba kay mga tigulang na kaayo. And then ginaadtuan na lang siya for tourists kanang naga ni sige tawag anong marag sana kanang matukag for kasi tawag kanang mag-tour ka for kanang religion. Pilgrimage na lang siya. So, ang major source natin of food supply in prehistoric times are through fishing and hunting. And the preparation of use of land for growing crops are classified based on the types of rotation, short or long-term ba siya, intensity of rotation, water supply, and cropping pattern and animal activities. Implements used for cultivation. And the degree of commercialization could be subsistence farming, mainly farming food consumption. Dito sa Pilipinas, most of our farmers, small farmers, are subsistence farming lang, di ba? Hanto dahil food consumption ang atong harvest, di ba? Or maliit kung mostly lang in general. Kasi Pero siguro kung 1 hectare land, piece of land ka, siguro makapaskwela na, no? Makapait nagsakyanan. Dili Japon. High value. And capital, no? So, therefore, government should focus on lending money to our farmers, no? Supporting them. Kasi, as a farmer, even if how many times you lose your crop, kasi one of the main causes ng losses ng ating farmers are because of weather condition. Yung bagyo, flood, diba? And once they lose the crop harvest, they will get up again and go back to the farm again. Wala may choice, no? Iparesa to, mabagsak ta o board exam, bahala ka dara. Dili, oy. Exam na gyapon, hantod pwede pa. Ang PRC na lang mag-adjust. Bitaw, ato yun ang i-ensure, ha? Kasi it is also one of my dream someday. 2 years ko na mo nagiplanuhan ni Sir JP na mag-offer para to help our graduates too. Although prior naman, yung 2018 ata to na exam, 50% ang passing, di ba? Oo. But ako, show sa lake ko. So I want it more na sana maghaging higher, no? So just a matter of practice. Practice lang yun. I know, katulog na tayo si Bonnie kanina. But, sige lang, padayon ng gihapon, no? And second is partly commercialized. More than 50% of the product is for home consumption and the rest is ginabaligya nato. Sometimes, kung rice farmer ka, ginuhurot imong baligya, mangutang na kagbugas sunod bulan. Or commercialized farming. So these are just for the few sa tawag nila kanang companies na they venture on farming, like kanang mga corporate farms, no? Dole, Padeco. Ano man mo ganing akong gina-hide. Okay, so more than another thing is grassland utilization. So pwede siyang total nomadism kung saan yung katong mga mostly atong mga ninuno is mag-transfer lang because of the wide area na wala pa clear, mag-transfer lang from one place to another. And semi-nomadism is that nag-stay sila until certain time. Transhumans, partial nomadism, and stationary animal husbandry. So total nomadism, wherein animal owners do not have permanent place of residence and do not practice regular cultivation. So para naipakaon sa ilang herd, they go from one place to another with their families. Semi siya kung nasa permanent place of residence and supplementary cultivation is practiced therefore, but for long periods of time, they also travel with their herds to distant grazing areas. No? And after na balik lagi hapon. Transhumans naman are farmers with permanent place of residence which send their herds and tended by herdsmen, usually mo na itong ginabuhat karon, for long period of time to distant grazing areas. And partial nomadism, farmers who live continuously in permanent settlements and who have herds at their disposal which remain in the vicinity. Stationary animal husbandry occurs where animals remain on the holding on the village throughout the year. So those are the terms on types of farming systems. So farming system as a definition is a mix of farming enterprises to which a family allocates its resources, efficiently exploiting the existing environment for the attainment of the family goals. So, dati, subsistence naman yun, diba? Para wala pa man taan makahumag-eskwela, makapasa og board, no? Makapay og sakyanan. Sa una, padaghanay lag anak para na ay makaon. No? So, another term is cropping system wherein the crop production activity of the farm comprise all components required for the crop production of the farm and the relationship between them and the environment. So, when you say monocropping, it's planting of one crop such as banana only, rice only, but intercropping two crops arranged in specific distance. Mixed cropping, planting of different crops na more than two without specific distance. Or pwede rin siyang two but wala siya specific distance unlike sa intercropping. And in multiple cropping, planting different crops arranged in distance, specific distance. So medyo ano siya no with its own definition and makalibog siya, tricky masyado. Alley cropping, planting rows of trees at wide spacing in companion crop grown in the alleyways between the cows. The rows by cows. Multi-story system is mixture naman ng crops with different heights, kaya wala siyang multi-story building and growth characteristics which together optimize soil, moisture, and space. So, gamit tanan. Munang makaingon si Gab, wala na si Gab na siya isa ka hektarya ng mangga, kanang coconut, kape, no? So, hektarya na siya tanan, pero gimix. Multi-story. And diversified farming system, employing diverse crops and animals within a given area. So this is an example of the multi-story system. And the types of farming systems can be subsistence, integrated, and organic. So subsistence farming in which majority of the output is for the farm family only, no other. An integrated farming system, it's the raising of crops and animals together at the same time to provide feed for animals and manure for plants and increase income. So integrated na siya, meaning nagtinabangay tanan. Ang animals para sa crops and crops para sa animals and overall para sa family. Organic farming avoids the use of synthetically compound fertilizer, pesticides, growth regulators, and feed additives. So this is an example of an integrated farming system. No, wherein ang fertilizer manure is used for crops and for fertilizer, and then ang crops is harvested as feeds to animals. Okay, so an example of a commercial livestock biogas fish production system model at Maya Farms using 60,000 pigs and 120,000 egg-type chickens and a few hundred heads of cattle. Wow, bongacious, no? Millionaire kayo. So this one can already develop biogas generated from the manure by their livestock. No? So nakay sariling kuryente using this amount of animals and their manure. So this enabled the farm to use methane gas from the manure as substitute for liquefied petroleum gas. O diba, bongga? A source of energy to run internal combustion engines that power deep well, water pumps, feed mixers, generators, and some other electric equipment in the farm. So this is shown in this model. The pig manure, poultry, and cattle manure is incorporated into the biogas digester, and in the solid sludge, the methane gas is used as energy, and the liquid sludge is used for fish land, for fertilizer and growth of fish, and now they have marketable fish. So yung sludge is the byproduct of biogas generation, wherein contains mixture of anaerobically fermented organic waste and water discharge from the digester itself. And this is processed into animal feeds and commercial fertilizer for tilapia production. And with the plankton and have feeds with things as fish food, its fish ponds can yield 2 tons of tilapia per hectare every 3 months. So sustainable, no, na farm. So advantages pag yun ang sludge as fertilizer is it's not odorous and will not affect the palatability of the fish, promotes growth of the plankton better than the fresh manure, and has a lower biochemical oxygen demand, BOD, and fresh, leaving more oxygen available for fish in the pond and allows production of biogas and biofeed out of the manure pond. So as you can see, this is the photo of the integrated farming. So types of farming can also be lowland rice-based system, upland crop-based farming system, coconut-based farming system, hilly land farming system, sugarcane-based, crop animal farming, and crop fish farming. So what are these? Actually, nanay different aning for distribution. For lowland rice-based, pwede siyang any of the combinations sa irrigated lowland, composed of rice fish, rice, vegetable fish. So, sa rice field din mo na, kay vegetable na pag fish. No? Along the dikes or rice duck. No? Or rain-fed lowland, rice, vegetable with grass, field grass. For rice fish naman, you can provide a centered trench running lengthwise as refuge or passageway or catch basin. And then the dikes are higher for water entry and drainage. Wire screen is installed also to prevent entry of predatory fish and escape of stockfish. So this is an example of the rice-based duck plus fish integration. So the center, the rice plus fish in the center trench. And the peripheral trench. Dikes are planted to vegetables, such as egg, petchay, tomatoes, and beans. Taro are also raised along the base of the paddy dikes. Dali lang ha. Hello? Ako na i-send ka na. Kalimutan ko. I-send ako sa iyahang. I-forward na ako. Naka sa ano do? RMC? Naka sa RMC? Sige, hapit lang na rin ha. Sa hapon na lang do, KB. Okay. Ay, dili, may na yung kwarta. Wala problema. Na-eyeglass siya. Okay na. Sige. Sige, Doggy. Send lang ako sa email ka nun, ha? Sige. Sige, bye-bye. Okay. Sorry for that. So this is also another example of rice plus vegetable o tanawa. Alternate lang siya, no? With fish. This is practiced in India. So the rice duck is also wide practice. So kasi nag-practice sa inyo, hanay, kasi naipalayan na rin yan na mga duck food as well. Wala pa? Dili pa kaunan sa duck ang kuan? Dahon? But actually, I also have a rice cream. Ako na parents, no, na sila napoy dagan kay duck and then rice. So nami sa kilo nga bugas. So dili man naman siya so far. Although wala mo ko sa farm na para makakita jud mismo. But I don't think na it will. Ducks will feed on the alcohol kasi snails collected by the farm. And ako makita dito kasi napo ko gina-study karon na under FP8 po siya biofertilizer using nanotechnology. Nice good siya og effect. It's a Thai na product. No, and I'm very excited kasi gisapot lang ko sa moto ganina no, gisapot ko sa company. Kay ano, and it is composed of nanoparticles or nanochemicals ingredients na wherein amazing. Pag mix pa lang nimo daan, di ka nimo tutawon ba? Siya lang mismo mo ano. And then ma-absorb efficiently by the plant. Makita din na ako ang ano, ang difference. And then for ano pa na siya kasi for distribution sa FDA trial pa siya, so dili pa siya commercially available. And we are waiting na ma-commercialize na siya after sa akong study. About nanotechnology. Napo ko video regarding that, so maybe after this. Ducks are then let loose in the rice field 1 week after transplanting perma-feed. So this is an example of rice plus duck. So we also have upland crop-based farming system using orchard, vegetable, pig, poultry, and fish. So the manure from pigs and broilers are fed into the digester for biogas production in this case. So sludge is better than fresh manure as fertilizer. And the entrails of the dressed chicken and vegetable scraps are cooked for feeding the pigs, no? Ang babi na kung may pa ang kasi ginakaon na to entrails, di ba, sa manok kana isa na isaw ba? And this is the example of the vegetable fish livestock. Example of the multiple cropping. So na siya rice, upland rice, mangga, and then beans. So this is the integrated farming wherein basic components niya ay duck raising for meat and eggs and mini fish farm. Vegetable multiple cropping, na siya string beans, na siya kulitis or vineyard integration as well. So sa coconut-based farming system naman, pwede mo i-intercrop ang coconut to yield more 1 to 6 years sun-loving crops with corn, upland rice, coffee, and so on. But after 6, 7 to 25 years, you only crop shade-tolerant crops like black pepper, cacao, coffee, and lanzones, and so on. No? And 26 years up, mga sun-loving crops and shade-tolerant crops pa din. No? Like the pasture grasses, livestock na to feed the soil surface into this. So this is an example, coconut plus gemelina, coconut banana plus pineapple, coconut banana, coconut vegetables at by island. Then coconut based with corn, eggplant, and vegetables. Basta 1 to 6 years old pa lang. Pinakbet vegetables under coconut-based farming system. Or cacao. Yam plus coconut. Ato nga. Kasi mas higher ang yield sa imuhang gabi kung shady siya. Beekeeping under the coconut. Coconut plus grass for grazing. So this is another example of the successful mga coconut-based multiple cropping schemes like papaya and pineapple, coffee papaya, pineapple, coffee black pepper, pineapple, banana coffee, and banana black pepper. so much more. Lanzones, banana, pineapple, durian banana, durian pineapple. So pwede niyo yung mga successful mga combination na ni proven and tested. Passion fruit, chayote, baguio beans, cacao, banana, pineapple, and coffee, banana, papaya na mga combination, coconut based. So sa hilly land farming system naman, cropping could be rugged and undulating terrain. So usually 15% more ang topography of the slope. Soil conservation is the major consideration here, kaya minimize tillage dapat. And you can plant perennial crops like fruit trees, legumes, and good soil conservation. So we already have discussed this one, how to do the typical sloping agricultural and technology farm. And sugar-based farming system, intercropping with mungo, peanut, and soybean will increase yields. So, ayun, this one. Or crop animal farming system, integration with fodder production and existing cropping system. Like ipil-ipil, corn, sorghum. This one, crop plus duck, mango plus cow, mango plus chicken, mango plus goat, or integrated farming. Isa ka hektarya or 10 hectares. Diba? Crab fish farming system using tilapia. You can have 4,000 to 5,000 hectares na tilapia, common carp, or combination using centered trench or peripheral trench. Okay, using another way of farming is using minimum input farming, meaning you use rice straw and so on as mulch as fertilizer, or green manuring with azolla and sesbania for lowlands and mountains for uplands. And you use poultry, hog, cattle, carabao manure, and rhizobium inoculation of legumes. So these are other minimum input farming, azoospermillium, kabalo mo ane, like in to sugarcane, corn, and sorghum. Crop rotation schemes, intercropping and cover cropping with non-legume and legume, sugarcane plus mountain soybean or peanut, for example, and so on. So you can also use botanical pesticides instead, no? Like mga FPJ, these have an insecticidal property, depende sa crop na gamit mo. Application of the integrated pest management. You use physical methods, biological methods, and last resort na ang chemicals. Use of biological control agents such as Bacillus thuringiensis and trichogramma. Nag-produce pa pagyapon trichogramma karon? Sa malagos na lang. So per session about farming system usually are rejected by small farmers, diba? And small farm systems are very complex. Simple farm management economics, wide diversity in small farm system, significant instability in agriculture and forestry on technology with petroleum products. Kasi sa atin, we are mandated by the price of gasoline. Diba? Pag taas, yung sweldo ba yan, di mo taas, ang presyo lang. And about complexity of the small farm system, we have long or multiple growing season, yet high levels of risk and uncertainty combination of the system commercial activities. And we have general reliance on household labor lang atong ginagamit ko, coupled with scarce cash. So dili man na makaya nga ang imo lang mga anak, no, family lang ang labor. Ano ba, isa ka hektarya imo ang humayan kaya sa isa ka tao? Ang isa ka hektarya na humayan? Gatong 20 years old pa. Ikaw, sir, sa una, isa ka hektarya? Pag tinabangay, no, silingan, mag-hire ka o ka ng kakao. 1/2 lang. Uy, kada ko ano, uy. Okay, and again, nagpakita ko na ito kanina. And it's video, no? There are other forms of salt, no? We have actually 4. We have the sloping agricultural land technology, the simple agro-livestock technology, sustainable agroforestry land technology, and the small agro-food livelihood technology. So, pwede siyang salt 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, daghan siya. It was established in 1978. It's a package of technology for soil conservation and food production. It's a method of growing field and permanent crops in 3 meter to 5 meter bands between contoured rows of nitrogen fixing trees. The nitrogen fixing trees are planted in double rows to make hedge rows, and which is 1.5 to 2 meters tall, then cut to 75 centimeters. So they are placed in alleyways to serve as organic fertilizer as well. So in the agroforestry scheme, it's a diversified farming system considered as agroforestry. So anong meron? Mga permanent shrubs like coffee, cacao, citrus, and other fruit trees. No? And the strips not occupied by permanent trees are crops. They are planted alternately with cereals or other crops and legumes. This includes planting trees for timber and firewood. And example are mahogany, casuarina, sisbania, kasoy, etc. Sa simple agro-livestock land technology naman, it is a small livestock-based agroforestry system wherein you can use dairy goats for 40% and 20% forestry and 40% livestock. So there are hedgerows of nitrogen-fixing trees and shrubs in the contour lines, and the manure are fertilizer for the crops and forage crops. Next is the sustainable agroforestry land technology, wherein incorporate food production, and forestry. So develop conventional salt project to produce food for family and possibly food for livestock. So you can plant fruit trees such as rambutan, durian, lanzones in the contour lines. So the plants in the hedgerows will be cut and peeled around the fruit trees for fertilizer and soil conservation purposes. And there's a small forest, about 1 hectare, will be developed, which trees of different species may be grown as firewood naman and charcoal for short range production. So in areas kung saan soil is too steep for row crops, you should put contour lines 2 to 3 meters apart and planted with flamenga and other suitable hedgerow species. And between the hedgerows, you can plant coffee, cacao, calamansi, and other permanent crops. And lastly, is a small agri-food livelihood technology based on a half-hectare sloping land with 2/3 developed fruit trees and 1/3 intended for food crops. So, of course, the hedgerow is made of nitrogen-fixing trees and shrubs like flamenga and so on. So, yung steps is napakita na kanina. Ito. Sa video. No? On how to do the contour of the sloping land agricultural technology with the 10 steps. And the copy of this will also be provided. Kani siya? Rice terracing. Contouring lang. But the same principle lang naman ang terracing, rice terracing. Oo. Terracing. Oh, vegetables. Then crop rotation as well. Building green terraces. Ayan. So later on, Mga oo, kasi naganda ko hantod man, ako na siya dara. Kasi because of this contour hedgerow. So of course, it's really very advantageous in terms of simplicity, applicability, locals, and time. It's a good technology for Asia, and it will help restore fertility and structure. Protects the soil from erosion, no? Efficient, applicable, madali. So there's a lot. Economically feasible, ecologically sound. So kwarta na lang jud ang kulang. So according to Watson and Luckyhorn. So there is not and never will be one system for all farmers, of course. And salt is not a miracle system or a panacea. So to establish a 1 hectare salt requires much hard work and discipline, and it will take many years to deplete the soil of nutrients and lose the topsoil. No system can bring depleted, degraded soils back into production in few short years. So the price of soil loss is poverty. But we have seen land restored into a reasonable level of productivity by using salt. So that would be all for the crop science field. And post-test tayo on Saturday. And Sunday is entomology. Crop protection na naman tayo. So move on tayo. I know everyone is working, no? So but we really to find time. At this point, hanggang sa exam, balang magkalimta na yung natatanan. Pagkauman sa exam. But before sa exam, focus dito sa akong lesson, no? Nana lang. Yes, sir, Gab. Unsay katong farming system. So do you have questions or clarification? Naapoy salt, sabon. Pero remember lang ako one question. Isa ka oras ng lecture. Question. So makita na ninyo, no, kasi na-sample ng mga question. Isa. So I'm going to show you sample questions from UPLB para na may idea. So how about from the online participants? Do you have any clarification for the, as well as for the ay naday diri sa kuan ano man tawag. Ay, lagi ka. Yes? Ano yun? Ha? Ano yun? Permaculture? Subject? Wala. Saan na siya, sir? More on sa agroforestry. Not really permaculture itself, but embedded na siya sa crop science. Dahil magod ang kuan karon. So mo ni sample questions, ha? Example. In Asia, the early civilization have established around a diet basically consisting of A. Maize, peanuts, B. Sorghum and beans, C. Rice and beans, D. Wheat and barley.
C.
Nalaylay, lagyan mong answer.
Letter C.
Letter C, Sir Ron. Thank you. And the rest. Kasi, Asia kasi, rice and beans. Maize and peanuts, US, no? And wheat and barley is Mediterranean, Europe. The race of people regarded now as the first agriculturists are the B.
Letter B. Letter B.
Kasi ni Grace mo to, no? Ay, cherry, sorry. Cherry blossom. Our region consisting of the Indo-Chinese Indonesian region is believed to be the center of
Coconut.
coconut. Yes, coconut. Kaya sa atin, answer na ko ang answer key, ha? Hindi ko sure. So, ito nga number? Number 3. Number 3 is letter D, coconut. So the center of origin of Oryza sativa is
India.
India, no? Among the choices, of course, India, because it's not India ba di ay? Ano itong number? Number 4. D. India gani, no? Hindi ta mo India. Ala naman Pilipinas. Kung China ba to ang choice? So, number 5. Next to rice and corn, the top 5 crops of the Philippines include
A.
letter A, yung number 5. Coconut, sugarcane, and banana. This is based on the UPLB, ha? Kasi na-copy ani. Number 6, comparative advantage in agriculture means
Letter A.
comparative advantage, higher efficiency, higher land, higher yield. Okay, answer? A. Number 6 man to, no? It's A. Alam nga, gitimanana ni mo. And number 7, the answer is letter. As a science ka, production is very much related to libog siya, no? Kaya halos parihatanan.
Letter D, ma'am. Can I breeding?
Of course, kasi nasa answer T ganina. Okay, number 8, ang answer. The chlorophyll is commonly found in asa?
Mesopale.
Unsa to? From the From the online? Letter B ba ang answer? Stop sa na ko share. Number 8 man to, no? Letter B. And light absorption by the leaf is lowest in letter C, green. Number
Green.
9. And number 10. Dahil lagi ni. Na wrong siya sa isa. Well, so kana, imagine na more on kwan siya, diba? More on physiology, history. A well-prepared upland soil should have ABC. A or B? Siya, makabalo pa mo ani, wala nang 2 to 1. It should be 2 to, natin 2 to 1. Letter B. Granular and friable. Direct seeding is commonly practiced in planting. B. Mango.
Corn.
C. Corn. 2 to 2. C. 2 to 3. A leafy shoot originating from axillary buds born at the base of the pineapple fruit is called?
Slip.
C man tong answer ganina, no? Kita ninyo? 2 to 3 is letter
Slip. C.
A method of asexual propagation in which missing organ is allowed to regenerate on detached vegetative part of the plant. B, cutting.
Cutting. Yeah, sexual man.
2 to 4, B. Cutting. 2 to 5. In grafted plant, the lower portion of the graft union can become the root system is called. Kasi yun, no? The lower portion is letter A.
Protect.
The practice. So yun, nakry. Hawag na kayo mo. Ang isa na karoon na? Wala pa na print. The practice of growing a new crop out of shoots arising from the previous crop is called?
Ratoning.
Ano yun, Sir Ron?
Letter C, ma'am.
Letter C, ratoning. 2 to 6. Letter C, ratoning. 2 to 7, a bacteria capable of living symbiotically with higher plants, usually legumes from which they receive their energy, and capable of fixing nitrogen. Kasi yun.
Sobium.
Letter A.
Rhizobium.
Yes, 2 to 7 is letter A. 2 to 8, the arrangement of individual soil particles into compound particles or aggregates which normally determines the water holding capacity and drainage quality of the soil. Is it soil structure or texture or aggregation or type?
Texture, ma'am.
Texture.
Kay clay.
Ano yun, Sir Ron?
Texture, ma'am, kay clay, man.
So, letter, what letter?
B.
Letter B.
Letter B, soil texture ba yung answer? A down. 2 to 8 is letter A. Soil structure. The concept of basic and nutritious food being available, accessible, affordable, and stable in supply. Food security, letter B, 2 to 9, letter B. So, bago na tayo nag-discuss, the planting of diverse series of plants, differing in heights, branching, characteristics, so on. Letter D, 230 is letter D. Diba? The proper application of fertilizer is, sige, pakibasa. Which is your answer? Letter B? B, D? 205 is D. Basal application. With 206, when integrated pest management is to be applied, the first order in the decision process is having control is letter Letter A. Ito ito nga number? 206. Letter B. Planting varieties of crops known to be resistant to problem pests. Anyway, mag-discuss pa man po mo kung pest man. Wala kasi na po lagi discuss, no? Diba? Kasi nag-specific na ko sa crop. Mag-discuss man po mo sa IPM. 207, proper weed management involved. Kalibog pa. Maski ako nalibog. Umanang ko answer ani ha. Letter C ba? So 207 is letter A. Allowing weeds to grow if competition with the crop is made. So pwede po siya i-allow dahil na kung competition is minimal. Okay, 208 diseases of perennial crops may be found in roots, leaves, flowers, and fruits. Then fungicides are resorted when? A, B, C, or D? Analysis kayo siya, no? Letter B. 208 is letter B. 209, vertebrate and insect pests are better controlled when? Letter C. Letter B. Sa mukha, nga question, oy. Kasi vertebrate and insect pests kasi. Okay, 210. In arid places, the most economical means of irrigation method is? Actually, wala ko nag-discuss, ani. Kasi, pa sa soil na parang yun sa soil science.
Loading.
Siya. Letter D.
B.
10 is letter D. 211. What's the answer? A na lang. Letter A. Natural rainfall could be enough for coconut and mango. Modern crop agriculture would require. So, dayo na kayo sa itong padihan. Ang sa to, Sir Ron?
C, ma'am.
Letter C daw si kay Sir Ron. 191. Wait lang ha, asa ng 191?
D.
Letter D kay Kay 191 is letter D. So letter D daw siya. Knowledge of all kinds of and from all sources. 192 as ng taasa. The factors affecting food and fiber production in the Philippines and elsewhere are population dynamics, environmental factor, wala din ba ko nag-discuss ani, water and temperature, land and soil resources, production technology, so on. To attain food and fiber self-sufficiency within the context of our culture, the best thing to do is kataas mag-question. Manage population to slower growth rate, invest in infrastructure that will control environment factors, increase land under crop cultivation, or transform production technology into practice that will increase farm productivity. Kung saan yung answer? Letter D. So 192 is letter D. 193. Soil erosion control is important in the Philippine agriculture because letter C, B or C? 193 is C. 194. In modern Philippine agriculture, the selection of planting materials for both annuals and perennials is guided by demand of foreign markets, yield and quality of processed products, adaptability of the planting materials, and recommendation of B, B or D? B or D ba? Ano sila itong number? 194.
B.
194 is C, adaptability of the planting material. 195, seeds or seedlings are better planting materials than asexual or vegetative propagular. When is the seeds or seedlings better than asexual? Kung A, B, C, D. A siguro na. B, C. 195 is A.
Ay,
There is benefit of hybrid Bible. Analysis kasi ang CAPSI. Ano po ang animal science? Ang soil, ang murag objective tayo. And 196, last na ni 196 and 97. Classification of seeds based on this concept. Orthodox seeds can be kept for long periods in storage when moisture content is low. No. Recalcitrant seeds are more associated with perennial horticultural crops. Pwede. Seed of corn, rice, eggplant, and squash are recalcitrant seeds? No. Seeds of rambutan, mango, and avocado are orthodox seeds? No. Therefore, the answer is B. Mali na ito ba? Number ito, 196. Is tanawa letter A, animal. 196 letter A. Ay, oh, tama siya. Letter A ang answer. Oh, tama, orthodox. Sorry, good na, wrong lang ko. Diyos ko, pagkaulaw. 197, kaingin system is primarily subsistence farming. The form of planting crop is generally direct seeding of crops or growing perennial crops. Ini mauna pa ni sa taas, no? C, mixed cropping, and D, regular distance. Letter A. Letter, na 197 to, no? Direct seeding. So, 197 is letter A. Then, ano? So, okay na? I'll be sending you naman mga during sa post test. Kani mo man yung gamitan na dili post test. Mock board. No? Or karang post test, we will try na if di na mo ma-print na kasi I promise you 1,000 items, di ba? Bitaw. Supposedly 300 items, no? And some of the questionnaire is sent na mo through GC na lang. Ha? 1,000. Nag-joke ako, sir. pero more or less, more than 300 items ako mahatag na question. But pilihan lang ninyo ang ma-answeran ko din. Wala yung kaso manggod kung kung i-print na mo tanan, no, dili magkasya tong budget. So, kamo na lang print sa uban. Ha? Sa questionnaire, isend mo sa GC. Mga sample questionnaire. Ako pa siyang kasi nag-scan lang to nga, ang scan magud sa una, since 2011, pag nga question, no? Ang scan sa una is tag one page, di ba? Dili sumpay-sumpay. Yan, karon isumpay-sumpay pa na ako. Okay, so para maka-early move ka ng uli kasi it's Sunday and tomorrow is banat na po. Tabaho. So, do we have some more concern from the online?
None, ma'am.
Of course, ihatag na mo. Thank you very much, Sir Ron, sa imong active participation sa uban diha. Madam Shaira, sige, gilom-gilom. Dali nga dali, pakita na sa kuha dali. Human na lang po on lecture. So,
Hi, ma'am.
I cannot promise to be here, but the staff will be here. Kasi na ako kayod good kay kumuradyo ka na lima kong anak. Kaya nang napo ko yung klase. So, thank you everyone and see you again next week. Online ako.
Salamat, ma'am.
Dili ako kamo face to face. If you have the opportunity na mag-face to face, then be talaga, no? Be present physically. Kasi it also it helps a lot. So bye-bye sa mga online.
Bye, ma'am.
Salamat.
Salamat.